What's going on, y'all? Here in the Wabi Sabi living room right now. And as you can see, today is tune day for both bikes, actually. When we tune in first the Ducati and then the S1000. What I won't be doing is going through the whole process that comes before today, man. This is definitely a 2, sometimes 3-day thing, depending on what, depending on BT Moto, depending on what modifications you made to your bike. But pretty much what I've done up to this point is I obviously ordered the handhelds. I got one for each bike along with the tune. First, I had to hook the flasher up to my computer, download the BT Moto software, and update my flasher. Then after that, I went out and I connected this to each bike and I read the stock file on the bikes. After I read the stock file on the bikes, I had to send that into BT Moto and do a questionnaire about what modifications I made, what kind of riding I do, a few different things, tire size. And from that point, it's up to them how much time they're going to take to get back to you with your actual tune file. They got back to me in 1 business day. After they got back to me with the tune files, at that point, it is very simple to do. All you have to do is reconnect your handheld to your computer again, and then you will download that new software from BT Moto's website to your computer and from your computer to the flasher. It sounds like a lot of steps, and it kind of is, but I can understand how it's all necessary in order to make sure that you're going to get exactly what you need for your bike and to make sure that everything's up to date. So there's no way that they can have all of these in stock and have them completely updated. So that's one step that they really can't take away. And then along with that, they want to make sure that you have the most recent file downloaded from your bike as possible. Just to rephrase that, I mean, when you read your bike with this handheld, they want to make sure that it's recent and that you don't go to the dealer and get an update to your software after the fact that you read your bike with this and sent them that file. So that's something that they make sure to avoid and make sure that you try not to do, I should say. And that's primarily because if you have a different stock file on your bike than what you sent to them, then what they send to you could require a change. So it's just them taking all the necessary steps. What I would highly recommend is reading through all of their instructions that are applicable to you. It's all very upfront on their website. It's very obvious. It's not a difficult thing to do. You do need a Windows computer for it, though. So what I'm going to show you guys is pretty much the process of me hooking the bikes up to the handheld, hooking the handheld up to the bikes, and I'm going to walk you through those steps. I have both bikes connected to battery tenders right now. Some say it's not necessary. BT Moto says it is necessary as a precaution, like just to make sure that your battery does not die while it's rewriting your actual ECU, because if that happens in the middle of the rewrite, then you're going to be in some bad shape. So I'm going to walk you guys through that part. I'm going to show you a little bit of what I'm doing on the screen, just because the Ducati specifically requires a fuse to be removed before you can actually hook up this tuner and tune it. You can hook it up to read your file with that fuse in there, but you cannot hook it up to actually rewrite your file, rewrite your ECU while that fuse is in. So Ducati has one extra step, and BMW, I think from what I've heard, the BMW just takes a little bit longer, but we're gonna find out today though. As I was updating my handheld, there's a pop-up that occurs when you select a specific type of bike if there's an extra step that needs to be accomplished. When I was doing my update, this popped up and it said, hey, like, this is a step that's required for your bike. It doesn't make it obvious that that's what it's about to tell you. So make sure you just run with it. Follow all the prompts that they give you in this software. That way you can make sure that you're getting everything you need, because had I seen the way it first popped up and I was like, oh, what is this, man? This is something random. I shouldn't click on it. Then I would have completely missed this step. I wouldn't have known about it, but it is there. Just make sure you don't miss it. So all this is pretty much going to tell you is remove that battery cover and the ignition cover. You're going to end up going to what they call the BBS fuse and fuse box, and then remove the BBS fuse. It looks very simple and straightforward. I'm about to go ahead and grab some tools so I can remove that battery cover, and it should be very easy. They give you the exact location of this black box system fuse, and so I'm going to go get some tools and we'll get this started. So real quick, something I wanted to point out, man, was a really good buddy of mine. He he bought me these Lego sets to match the 2 bikes. There's one for the S1000 and there's one for the Ducati. He got these for me for my birthday, and I'm appreciative, man. I mean, I've never put together a Lego set like that. Apparently, there's a lot of pieces, and apparently they're very expensive. So, hey, big shout out to him. I don't even like putting my own bikes together, but now I got to put these bikes together. So, let's get it. All right, so like I said, I'm going to start off by removing this cover here, and then after that, I'm going to follow up by removing the ignition cover. Got my little, what is this, a 3 mil? This is a 3 mil Allen. Oh, yep, 3 mil here. Okay, now that cover is off, and like I said, I've removed the bolts, and then what you'll do is you'll lift here on this front side, just enough to pop these, the pins out of these grommets, and then on the back side, these are little hooks. So you'll pop this up first, and then you'll slide it forward, and that's how you get that off. Now, I think this is gonna be a 4 mil here to get the ignition cover off. And let me just go ahead and try that and let you know. So in case you don't already know, Ducati is very, very technical. I'm just gonna say complicated when it comes to assembling and disassembling their motorcycles. But anyway, it's these two 4 mil bolts up here, and then you're gonna have two more 3 mil bolts here. So actually these are technically nuts, but either way, it's all hardware. And then you're gonna have one on each side, this one and the one on the other side. And once you get this off, I believe this needs to slide backwards. This part here needs to slide backwards in order for that to lift up away from it, or you can pull this away from it. I think it's backwards, maybe forwards. Either way, just be cautious of that. It's not gonna come directly off. I know that for a fact. All right, guys, so I got the bolts out, and it was actually that this piece needs to go forward. That's how it was. So you'll see it has that little clip there. Maybe there's two. No, there's only one. It has a little clip there, so it had to go forward. I can maybe slide it back in to show you guys. I'm not even gonna fuss with it, man, because Ducati is so complicated. Anyway, slid it forward. Now this is loose. This is free to move around. I'm gonna go do the other side. Should just be as simple as giving it a little wiggle. There we go, popped out. Now it's free. The whole cover, ignition cover, is free. Let's see. There we go, just like that. Now I believe it's going to be this fuse box, but I'm gonna double check the instructions and make sure that I'm gonna have the right one. All right, so here we can see it says that the BBS fuse is in the right box. The gas throttle side is what it says. So the side of your throttle's on, as highlighted in the picture below. Remove the BBS fuse every time you write a file. At the ending of the writing procedure, before turning the bike back on, it is necessary to set the BBS fuse back in its original position. So we're only going to be removing this for the time period that we're going to be rewriting the bike, no other time period. And do not start your bike with that fuse removed. Big step. I'm sure that it really matters. It's unfortunate you have to take this extra step. It's lucky that it's easy to get to this fuse, but Ducati, man, I'm trying to tell you guys, if you're gonna work on these bikes yourself, be wary, because Ducati is just a monster. And no pun intended, it is difficult to work on these bikes. Let me go get that fuse box cover off and see where the fuse is at. And it says here, number 5. So I don't think I actually mentioned earlier, this is a 2023 Panigale V4, not the V4S. This is just a standard V4. This is how I'm going to get to this. You don't have to remove this cover here. You have these little rubber clips that go over these plastic tabs. You just hit it like that. If I can get to this one, hit it like that. There we go. Trying to do this on camera is much harder than let me set the camera down for a second so I can see what's going on. All right, coming back here, BT Moto is very thorough with these instructions. It's pretty good. And they give you a picture of what you should see on your bike. And as you see, the 5th slot down, which is number 5, coming from the right side of the bike to the left side of the bike. It's the 5th slot down, and it's gonna be that 15 amp fuse. Let's go back to the bike and remove it. So here, because I have my battery tender lead sticking outward, I can't really flip this all the way up, but you can still kind of see in there. And you see my setup looks exactly like in their diagram as described. You have a 25-10, a blank slot, and then you have two 15s. It's gonna be that second 15. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Sorry, it's hard to point properly here, but it's gonna be that second blue 15 right there. So easy work with the pair of needle nose pliers. I removed that 5th slot fuse. Sorry, it's hard to point in there with one hand, but the second 15 in row. So there you go. This is how the bike is. That's where we are. Okay, so now that that fuse is removed, we are back on BT Moto's website in their resources page. And I'm just going through and selecting make, model, and year. And then you click on find, and it will bring up all the different resources that they have for that bike. So here we go. These are things that by now, if you're following my instructions, you've already been here. You've already seen all of this, but here is BT Moto flasher and troubleshooting guide, BT Moto handheld instructions, and I think that's what we're going to be using now, just, you know, for this portion. I have it on my phone, but I'm recording on my phone, so I'm just going to pull it up here so you guys can see exactly what I'm looking at and what I'm reading. So let's go to download. I don't know why it does that, but it's fine. And there you also see V4 fuse removal for flashing. Just make sure whatever bike you're tuning, just read through all of these things, man. I mean, it's crucial. That way you make sure you don't actually miss anything. So here you have a guide to let you know whatever step you want to pick up on, you go straight there. So loading to your flasher, loading files to the motorcycle. That's number 7, section number 7. I'm looking through the camera, I don't know why. Section 8 and 7. So I just got done with number 6 just a second ago, and that was when I was loading the tune files to my flasher. And then after that, I removed the fuse, and now here we are. So this says, let the bike idle for 10 to 15 minutes to ensure the battery is charged. I have them hooked up to tenders. I'm not gonna do that, especially because they're inside of my living room right now. That's not happening. Okay, so really all this is telling me is to just, like I said, go to work, writing, and then use the arrows to select the mod file, and then follow all the on-screen prompts. It also says that there are going to be some warnings that might pop up on your dash while you're doing it. It says it's completely normal, so keep pushing through. And it also says that with Ducati, BMW, Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki, and Kawasaki, clear any codes after flashing under the work, tools, and clear codes, DTC. I'll get there when I get there, but I guess it makes sense because if they're saying that warnings are going to pop up on the dash, then it's probably going to have some stored codes at that point. So let's go ahead and move over to the handheld, connect it to the bike, and follow those prompts. Okay, back over at the bike here. All I've done so far is just connect the handheld to the bike. That's it. And that's where we are. So like the instructions say, I'm going to go here. I'm going to click on work and then go to writing. Hit that again. I'm just going to follow all the prompts all the way through. Connect your battery. It's connected. Switch on the dashboard. Check connections. I also read when you switch on your dash, they say make sure you at least wait a few seconds for the fuel pump to completely prime before you go ahead and hit the OK button on here. So I don't know how necessary that is. They said it was for proper voltage to the ECU. I'm gonna do it just in case because I don't wanna break anything. So here we go. Okay. Oh my goodness. So let me just show you guys what's going on here immediately. And I think that's only coming from removing that fuse, honestly. I don't think that's from this, but maybe it is though. Switch off the dash to continue, okay? Okay. Switch on the dash. Fuel pump is primed, still got all the errors. My turn signal is going off, just the left one for some reason. I don't know if that's because I pushed the button. No, it's not. Okay, this one might take a while. This might be the actual programming now. So if that's the case, I'm just going to let this go and I'm gonna update you guys as soon as something happens. I quickly wanna note that I started this at 12:05 p.m. I don't know if this is gonna focus here, but that's where it's at so far. It's been about 2 minutes. So I'm gonna let you guys know exactly how much time it takes in the end. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes, man. That didn't take very long at all. And what this has been doing the entire time is looking like this. So no lights, no headlights actually on, but the hazards are flashing. And I assume that might just be a thing that happens if the bike no longer has DTC ABS, or, you know, if it has major malfunction, I think that's something that just happens, is that the hazards come on. But either way, it's been about 5 minutes now, and here we go. As soon as it got done, automatically it primed the fuel pump on its own. I'm gonna continue following these prompts. Okay, here we go. Switch off the dashboard to continue. Switched off, lights are off. Okay. Switch on the dashboard. Fuel pump is primed, still getting all these errors. Switch off the dashboard. That is off. Writing ECU completed. Okay, so I assume that that last step was pretty much going to clear the codes, but I have a feeling that after what I just did, the codes will still be there and my hazards will still be on. So I'm going to attempt to clear the codes through this now before going any further. I think I have to go to work again. Tool. And then now DTC, delete DTC now. I think. Switch on the dash. Fuel pump's good, hit okay. Run the errors deletion, yes. And I do still have my hazards on. It looks like just a left turn signal now, so I'm not sure what's going on. Switch off the dash to continue. Off. Completed successfully. Okay, now, hopefully all of these error lights are gone. We'll see. Or it might not be until I put that fuse back in, actually. That's probably what's going on here. So let's see what happens. With the fuse still out. Error, error, error. Hazards, okay. Let me go ahead and throw the fuse back in, and then we will see how it's looking after that. Okay, so before I went ahead and threw the fuse back in, I came back and looked through the instructions again, make sure I didn't miss anything. And it genuinely just, after this portion that we read earlier, it says clear any codes. We did that. This is specific to Aprilia. And then now it says you can start your tuned motorcycle and let the bike idle and take it for a ride. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw the fuse back in, and hopefully all those warning lights and everything go away. All right, so fuse is back in. It's that second 15 that you see right there. It's in. If the lights aren't gone after this, then I will clear the codes again using the handheld. Let's see. Lights are gone. So that is good. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and throw all this back together, and that'll be it for the Ducati. Okay guys, so now while reinstalling this, the best way to do it is, like I said, try to get those hooks in that backside first. And if you look under here, this is probably gonna be the easiest way to tell exactly what's going on. You can look and you can see, if you've done this before, you can recognize that that hook is inside of the slot it goes in. And then as you go to push it down, I wish this camera would focus. Okay, and then now you can see there's 2 places, 4 total, 2 on each side. That's gonna go inside that hole, and this is gonna go inside of that. Look out for that, and then you can push it down. All right, here we go. Just gonna give it some love. I think I gotta do this with 2 hands. Okay, that's all pushed down. Now it's all flush, and I'm just gonna reinstall those bolts, and the bike is ready to go. Just how on the V4 side, you remember that it said specifically, you know, you have to remove this fuse, the BBS fuse. I'm just gonna make sure there's nothing like that here for the S1000. Just playing it safe. I don't think there is, but let's just look and see. Make sure everything that's there is just general, applicable to all bikes, and that is the case. And then here you have links to instructions too. So anyway, in that case, I'm just gonna hook up the handheld and follow the instructions. So before we get started on the S1000, I just wanted to point out how beautiful this thing looks. I really liked the Ducati once I had that assembled, and I was like, this looks fantastic. And that was before I had all the parts I needed to put the BMW together. So now that the BMW is together, man, it's beautiful. And obviously a lot of carbon fiber. This was the 2025 M package, but it did not come with any carbon fiber besides this one little heel guard. That's all the carbon fiber that came on this bike. So I have just about all the carbon that I want. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is actually put the primary seat back on just so the battery is covered up and there's no risk of anything happening with that. And then the OBD port is actually under here. Ever since I initially disassembled this bike, I actually have not started it since then. I've left it alone. And then I put the exhaust on, so I definitely was not gonna start it after that. There's a lot that goes into that. I'm not gonna get into it, but I'm not gonna start it with a full exhaust without having a tune on it. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and take the key, get this seat off. I'm gonna show you guys where the connector would have been had I not already had it loosened, and we'll get to that. So, primary seat is back on with the battery, nice and protected, turnkey. This comes out really nice and easy. And so here is the OBD2 port connection, and that slot is where it sits in when it's not being used. So it would just get turned and just go and clip into there just like that. One other thing to note is that even with the S1000, M1000 single R style tail, you still have access to everything you need. Your cables can't get hooked up exactly how they were before, but I still made it neat enough to where it's, you know, it's good, it all works, it's not moving around, everything's nice and snug. Let's get this reader hooked up. Once again, all I've done is hooked up the BT Moto handheld to the bike in the OBD2 port. Now I'm gonna follow those same instructions. I'm gonna click on work, writing, okay. That is the exact file that I had downloaded from the BT Moto website after they sent me the tuned file. Now we're gonna wait for this to do its thing. Okay, connect to a tender, got it. Switch on the dash. Just give it a few seconds. This fuel pump, I can't really hear it prime too well, so just give it a few seconds and then hit okay. Sorry, I'm reading through my camera, so I can't see too well. But this way I make sure you guys have a good view of what's going on too. Switch off the dash. Switch on the dash. Okay, here we go. Give it a couple seconds. Okay. And now the programming has begun. So, like I said, I'm gonna get the time real quick and I'm gonna let you guys know exactly how much time it took. The Ducati was 5 minutes, very quick for this portion of it at least. Still, of course, the Ducati required me to remove that fuse, which took a lot longer than 5 minutes, but it's okay. Now I'm just gonna wait for this and it automatically looks like it's moving a lot slower than the Ducati. So let me go ahead and get a timestamp and let you guys know. Okay, so I just turned my camera off, looked at the time, turned it right back on, and it has been 1 minute. I started at 12:42 is what time I started, and it's out of focus again. But 12:42 is when I started. Got the timestamp, I'll let you guys know. All right, so we're getting there. I don't think my camera's really gonna pick up on it too much. There it is. Actually, yeah, it's just about to be done. So let me go ahead and get over there and give you guys a good time frame. All right, so at exactly 10 minutes, I just heard the bike there it goes. The bike just started, it's essentially turned back to the on position as far as the key goes. I heard it come back on, the fuel pump primed, and now it says switch off the dashboard. So that was 12:42 to 12:52 now. That was 10 minutes of that process. Very short, very quick, no problem. Okay, switch on the dash again. Wait a second. Hit OK again. Switch off the dash. All right. Writing ECU completed. That's beautiful. Okay, should we go to work? We go to tool. And then delete. Switch on. Switch off. Completed. All right. All in all, I think both bikes took about the same amount of time. Okay, now here I'm just gonna show you, like I said, that's the slot it goes into. Very easy to install and then to remove. You have one of these little clips here on each side. So it's a little hard to get to, but I mean, you can get your hand in there. If not, you can use a tool if you need to. Do whatever you gotta do. And then now that I'm done with it, the cable is very short, so it's a little difficult to get into this exact spot. There it goes, and then push down. One click, two click. It's in there. Nice and easy. And then my carbon fiber tail cover, seat cowl, whatever you want to call it. Get it into place. Nice solid click. It's on there. As you guys can see, no codes on there. Nothing looks abnormal. It all looks good. And it was the same on the Ducati. All right, guys, and there you have it. Now, both my 2025 S1000RR and my 2023 Panigale V4 are both tuned. S1000 has a full exhaust. That's about the only engine-related modification that I've made to it. And the Ducati only has an SC Project slip-on. Tune was very easy. Dealing with BT Moto, although it may be a multiple day process, it's still very few hours of work. It's very easy to do. As long as you follow their instructions, everything will go perfectly smooth and you have nothing to worry about. They are on top of their stuff. They are about it. So I recommend it. I shouldn't be recommending anything before I go and ride these bikes, but I mean, they've been proven time and time again. There's nothing to worry about. Only thing I need to worry about is if I did something wrong. So I've got rain the next couple of days. It's going to be raining. So whenever the rain stops, first thing I'm taking out is, actually, I'll probably take out the Ducati first, just because I have experienced that rough idle. I've experienced, you know, the symptoms of putting an exhaust on a bike and not tuning it. And I only did it to that one because it doesn't have warranty anymore. I'm going to catch a quick thumbnail. And that's the end of the video, guys. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Let's get this startup going. I probably don't have much fuel in here, but let's see what we got. Let her warm up all the way, and I'll give her some revs. Oh my God. Let's see how she sounds. That actually does not sound too good. Oh shit. Okay. Oh my god. Hold on, let me try again.
It's Kezzi.